liberty and justice for all.
Adam, roll call, please.
Here. Here. Present. Here.
Present. We have 7 present and 0 absent. Before we move on to the next item on the agenda, I just want to say a couple of words. First of all, I just want to remind all of us counselors why we're here, who we're here for, our community, and to really evaluate what we're going to be deciding on today. I'd like to take a moment of silence for that, but also Julie Fisher is not with us tonight because her father has passed away. So I'd like to take a moment of silence for her as well and her family. Thank you. Thank you. And we're just glad to be here for the community. So moving on to the consent agenda, Counselor, just keep in mind if there's anything under consent agenda, all it takes is for one of you to say, I'd like this item pulled to be discussed, and it would be moved further down in the agenda. Otherwise, I will take a motion to approve.
Madam Mayor, I would like to pull one item from the consent agenda for discussion purposes, and that is the Economic Development Event Support Grant process.
Okay, we will move that to further down in the agenda. Any other counselors would like to pull anything, or would you like to make a motion to approve the remainder of the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Adam, please take a vote.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Yes, we have 7 ayes and no nays to move the remainder of the items or to approve the consent agenda. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, recognition of visitors and hearing of petitions. Robert, would you please come forward? Please state your name and address for the record.
I'm Robert Edgar. My address is 28628 Ridgeway Road here in Sweet Home. I came to you guys about a month ago and I was pretty critical about some communication failures. And I just want to say that so far I've already seen some massive improvements. I have a fight now with the school board and the schools, but you guys, whatever team you guys have put in place to try to fix the communication, I've already seen a massive uptake in it. You guys like had a loose dog recently near a school that you guys, so it's impressive. So thank you. Whatever you guys are doing, keep doing it.
Thank you, Robert, for coming forward. Also, under the recognition of visitors and hearing petitions, we have the Rural Development Initiative presentation. So those that are coming to discuss that, you can come forward now. So Heidi and Kayla, once you have a seat, please give your name and address for the record, please.
Kayla Catino, 407 South First Street, Silverton, Oregon, 97381.
And I am Heidi Kokar. My work address is the one I gave is 91017 South Willamette Street in Coburg, Oregon.
Thank you.
Great. So tonight we are here to talk about a proposal that we're working on. We're currently under contract with you, with the city, related to bringing the Sweet Home Community Leadership Program here. I talk a little, Sorry, I want to talk a little bit about what community leadership is. I know when we presented this earlier last year, the players have changed. So community leadership, we can go to the second slide. Sorry.
You want to come back next month?
I don't want to. I would though. I would. What I will tell, I can do this without this a little bit. But we don't do leadership for leadership's sake, right? The program that we are here exploring with your community is a leadership program to help build community engagement and involvement. It is centered on community. It is not about power. It is about community action and getting people involved. So it's centered in community overall. And I feel like the curriculum itself is one that RDI has developed over the last 20 years. It has been here before. I delivered it for a decade before now. We were delivering it, but it is a curriculum that is both nationally recognized, but also built from your community and the knowledge and experience and issues that are going along in your community. So we try to meet the community where it is with that. Ultimately, it's about activating a diverse group of leaders and both engaging them with existing leaders as well as emerging leaders. I have had in classes several mayors and city council people and future city council people as well. They're developing skills to define problems, communicate better, work with others, and impact and leverage local assets. I'm on this second slide, just so you don't ever want to click. There's a project associated with it. So there'll be activities and projects that apply the learning. And ultimately, we're hoping that these are ongoing cohorts in your community. So that it's something that it is building a pipeline of leaders. What our theory of change is the idea of building leadership development is foundational to stronger organizations, more community and economic development. So it's building a pipeline and a group that will help be more active in your community. This program is researched and evaluated, and some of the research is on the next slide. I'm afraid to click it myself, but I will. I won't. So the increased capacity that we see is that any group any person that takes this class is generally 4 times more involved. And that the last time we stopped measuring it was at 7 years, and that had not dropped off. So after 7 years, so if you think of it, you've got 4 people in there. It's like having 16 more people involved in your community for 7 years. So it's like that. We have more than 4 people in our classes. 92% indicated working more effectively in teams. 90% has expanded their network and their resources. They increased their appreciation of community and the community assets. They reported that the classes help them create a better future for the community. And nearly everyone who has ever taken this class says it changes their life, and they still do. So what we're here reporting on tonight are 2 things. We are here to report on the contract that we are currently under with the city to stand this thing up, but we're also making an ask for the next year, or the furthering of our energy and effort. And I'll pass to Kayla for some more present.
All right. So where we've been so far. So this is our community development phase, and this is what was funded by the city council last year. And that started around September, because there's always time to get all those contracts signed and all of that fun stuff. So from September to today, and the goal of that first contract was 4 things. So increasing the community engagement with the program. And that's really to change it from RDI lifting this program to the community being involved and owning this. And then customizing the program, that's around, are there unique needs within the community that they want to put within the program, how to fund the program, and then launching, which takes a lot of outreach and recruitment. So, and Heidi will talk about the funds and our budget a little bit more later in the presentation, but there are funds left for that that launching phase. So we've had 20 community meetings. You can go back. I'm still on the other slide. Yeah. So far, these are just some of the numbers. We've had 20 meetings, that's virtual and in person, with organizations, with youth, within the community. We've had a community launch meeting, which we did these 16 vital signs, which is still up there on your on the wall, where we ranked the community within these rural vital signs. And we've talked to nonprofits, the foundation, Boys and Girls Clubs. And this list, so it's been over 100 people engaged, and that list keeps growing. I mean, even the past couple of weeks, people have attended the meeting and they're like, hey, add this person to your list, add this person. So that number of 100 people just keeps growing. Next slide. So really, with that goal of increasing community engagement, this is where we are at. We've assigned 4 committees where people at that first launch meeting expressed interest in these 4 committees. So the design committee, those are the people that are looking at what dates do we want to have this program? How are the youth involved? And really designing the scope and customizing it to meet the community needs. Their outreach committee is talking about recruitment, and we have a whole list of people and organizations and businesses to reach out to invite to participate within the leadership program. Then there's the funding committee, which is going to be writing some grants and looking at that, how to fund the program. And then there's some key stakeholders on that steering committee that are some of these key people that are some core champions. I would say everybody who's been engaged is a core champion, but these steering committees are just these core champions in the community that are connecting with people, and really the ones that are that kind of that ripple effect in community and making it happen. Next slide. All right, so that customizing the program. So this is what the design team has talked about over the past couple months. It took some time to figure out, okay, what does this look like? And we wanted that before we came to City Council. So you know kind of these logistics and these details. So what this will look like is 6 sessions, 4 in person and 2 virtual from September to May. We're going to do them over Friday and a Saturday. And then there will be a youth component as well. Oh, so the location, Dawn, we've been talking with Dawn to offer up the senior center for this program. And then we've solidified the youth component. We've had conversations with the youth on their recommendations, and that will be happening alongside the adult program. And then there's also was a desire to incorporate local government within the program. And that's just really about like education on how local government works. That came up of some of our committees where they've talked to some people in the community and don't even understand how it works. So just working on that, just educating community members about how local government works, how to get engaged, how to build trust with your local government leaders, and ideally, as with this community leadership, encourage participation in committees and eventually City Council as well. All right, and then the other aspect of this funding was the program launch. So really that first community meeting that we had, I think back in March when we did the 16 vital signs, was really the launch of this program to get really the community invested and engaged and inspired about it. And then there is an outreach plan, and the next step is participant recruitment. Again, at that first community meeting back in March, there were 10 people that filled out cards that said they would be interested in participating. And that's just one meeting, and the outreach team has a whole list of more people that they want to reach out to. And even people that have come to our meetings are like, sign me up. And then there's also this train the trainer aspect. So as we're doing outreach, part of this is building local capacity, and part of that is identifying people within the community that are interested in being a co-trainer this year, and then eventually training this program being trainers to future cohorts.
So fund development was part of the energy and effort, and we're at the point where we are doing fund development, and you are one of those dominoes that we're watching. But RDI has done a little bit of our own work on this. So we have matching funds that have helped us in the phase that we're in. So the contract that we have with you still has dollars left, and it has dollars left because we got matching funds, whether that was through the MJ Murdoch Foundation and that staffing, who we've dedicated some of our staff on that fund to this. And the Ford Family Foundation has a statewide energy and effort where Kayla's actually been billing to that statewide effort in attempts to keep your contract from spending down too quickly so that we can make sure that we get all the way through that. We've also applied, actually these are there's 3 grants or 3 or 4 grants that we have applied for. I just found out today, unfortunately, that the Healy Foundation grant was declined. Both of these are pretty unicorn kind of grants. They're national, both of them are national. But we're just continuing to figure out if there's a way to get outside funding into this energy and effort. There are grants in development. So we have a Oregon Community Foundation potential ask, the Mackenzie Scott Yield Giving, which is again unicorny, the Charlotte Y. Martin Foundation, the Sweet Home is going to ask. We're hoping that the funding committee puts in a Ford Family Foundation grant, which we have already laid the groundwork for that to be approved by your community. You are first in their door doing this, so they've already said we'll just have them apply. So it's not guaranteed, but I just have them apply, and I think that they're customizing that to go through. And then finally, we have conversations going on right now with the Sweet Home Community Foundation, and that will be an ask that Kayla will be involved in, but the funding committee does. There's, in addition to that, we hope that there are local sponsorships. And the next slide is the budget for this program. The year 1 project, all the way from soup to nuts, is $65,000. It's not a small amount of money, and this is how it breaks down. If you have any questions, happy to answer that. This is the expense budget. If you turn to the next one, it is our revenue budget. So here's how we see this playing out. The $7,500 for I still have in my pocket on your I don't have it in my personal pocket. In our organizational pocket for the launch period of this program is part of that. We're hoping that the city of Sweet Home comes in with 3. So the ask tonight is for 3 things. One is for the for the $12,500 that rounds out this year, as well as we are asking for an in-kind donation of your seniors facility if we didn't have to pay for the facility out of our pocket, and the city brought that in as an in-kind. We're asking for that. But that as we close down the first year, that we also have resources to do a little bit of what we're doing right now, so that ideally we are moving into a second year. You'll see that we are hoping for a match of the same amount from local philanthropy. The Ford Family Foundation grant will likely be around $25,000. And then we're hoping for community sponsorships. That's more than $65,000. And you'll see what we're attempting to do is hold some money in earnest so that the program eventually continues to do that and it becomes sustainable locally. The year 2 and the year 3 will go down in cost because of the more local people we have involved in training and engaging in this. So the costs will go down as your resources and your ability to fund it go up. What will you get for that money? For this first cohort, there'll be about 30 community members and teams trained in the community related to community economic and leadership development. The 2 projects will get done, one that will be community led and one will be youth led, but the class will kind of choose that, but both of those are funded through that. 10 or more community organizations will be engaged, and I will bet we're over that already. And I will say approximately $20,000 of that will be invested directly into this community, whether that is purchasing food, whether that is paying trainers that are local and stipending trainers, but it's getting projects done. So those are things that we think will come directly back to your community. It won't go out, and the impact stays right here. So that is our presentation.
Thank you so much for coming forward with that presentation. At this time, the ask is not on the agenda, so counselors, if you would like to move it to another agenda or have it brought to the agenda, I would need to hear from you all. Right now, it was just presented as a report. What that would mean is if you're interested in funding this project and you would like the ask to be put on the agenda, we just need a consensus of council. Oh, I'll ask Councilor Sanchez, would you like that?
Is that for this meeting or?
Next meeting.
Yeah, I would, next meeting.
Next meeting. Next meeting. Okay. A consensus for next meeting for the ask to be on that agenda. Okay, thank you so much. Moving on, under old business, this is where I'm going to place the Economic Development Event Support Grant process for information only. Can we have a staff report on that as well?
Absolutely. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Agenda handy. Okay, so council requested that we develop a process for economic development grants, and that would be for any organization who wanted to move forward with an event that they felt would support the economy and economic developments for the city of Sweet Home. So this is technically developing this process is an operational task. So this is not something that you all have to vote on, but this is something that we are working on, and we would love to hear any type of recommendations or requests for this process. After this process is fully in place, and right now we're in the draft stage, but we think it's pretty close, any asks along these lines would come forward to council for approval. So the idea behind this is just to create something that is relatively open-ended and could apply to multiple events, but would also have some clear parameters. So are you able to pull that up? Okay, perfect. So I'll just read through the form. You all should have it online as well, but would like to be able to share it with the community who's here. The grants would be awarded for the purpose of generating increased visitation and economic impact for the city through the support of major events, including but not limited to events such as conferences, reunions, meetings, sporting events and tournaments, and complimentary festivals and events. So these would be events that would be available to the public. And the idea behind this is to provide support economically that would eventually scale down so that these events could be self-sufficient. So right now we have a structure of not to exceed amounts before, where the first year would be up to 10,000, the second year would be up to 7,500, the third year up to 5,000, and we would have a total cap of not to exceed of 20,000 for any one event. So that is the current draft that we are working on. And if there's any other requests or discussions that you'd like to talk through, we're happy to do that. It does have that this is to attract and retain events that generate significant visitor spending in Sweet Home, increasing attendance by gaining a new demographic of visitors with additional event offerings, including participations and spectators, maximize the economic return on public and private investments for travel and tourism destinations in Sweet Home through capturing of meetings, conferences, and special events. And then it's very, very basic. It just asks for the name of event, date of event, description of events, how many visitors do you believe this will bring to Sweet Home, how will this event improve the reputation of Sweet Home, and how much money are you requesting, as well as what is the overall budget of the event. So that's the current process. Are there any suggestions or questions?
I like the template of how this was done, except there was two things that I think I'd like to see kind of redone a little bit just for clarification. Making sure that the public can attend this event each and every day. it says, make sure it's in there that says that the public, because if we're giving
Mhm.
taxpayers, money to fund this is what we're doing.
Right.
We have to have the ability for the citizens to be able to attend that event each and every day. And I'd
What
like to
if-
see that in there.
What if we included that as a question? And the only reason why I mentioned that is there might be an event that would have public participation for the majority of the time. But for some reason, they had something else, one of the dates. I think it could be beneficial for the council to still be able to look at that and wouldn't necessarily want them to disqualify just based on that alone. So if we were to add something like a question of how many days may the public attend, I think that could help sort of clarify that particular event.
I can probably live with that. I guess my main concern is that if we're giving taxpayers funds out for this, that I would think the taxpayers should be able to attend these events each and every day. The next thing would be to make sure it's at least on a neutral grounds. If we're trying to attract, tourism to our community, we've got event center, we've got the Quarry Park, we've got community parks, we've got school grounds. There's a lot of areas in this town to make it neutral for everybody accessible to it and to showcase our town.
How about we add a where is the event located as well?
Okay.
Okay.
So, would a percentage of the events, because I understand VIP events and sponsored part events type things, but could it say 75% of the events must be public, something like that?
Just want to make sure we have something
So may I say something? If we're requiring them to do complimentary admission, why would you require multiple days of complimentary admission to get some sort of grant? I don't understand why one day of a 3-day event is not sufficient.
By percentage, we can circumvent that.
Okay, so if we're talking about what we talked about last week, last council that I missed, it was in regards to the Icebox Cook-Off, and there's certain sponsored days where they aren't open to the public because they're sanctioned and you have to be registered or paid member of those certain sort of affiliations to be able to participate in that sort of day. So it's not as if one day is not enough because there's certain other requirements. So I don't like to see limitations. Because really it's just about this event. So
Again, you should have something on the application that basically says, okay, if there's a reason why the public cannot attend for that specific day, then we have a line item there that says explain why they can't. If it's a sanction, okay, then you have a line item there that explains that. Because if you're using taxpayers' funds, we have to explain to the taxpayers why they can and cannot come to a specific function because it's their money. We're sponsoring something. We are using taxpayers' funds. If it's sanctioned, then we need to have a line there that says this is why they can't attend. So the public has any questions, they can see it. So that would be my only question to it.
if I may say one more thing,
Yes.
if I appreciate that and I understand that we are using taxpayers' funds to give back to the community who are the taxpayers that are receiving some of their money back, which is awesome. I just don't understand. I mean, the line item to explain why we need to have taxpayer funded go to free taxpayer stuff is okay, but I don't like all the limitations. So.
Okay, so I think that we've expressed our ideas to this operational matter, and I appreciate this city manager to making note of these things. Every counselor, is there anything else specifically from other counselors that would like to share?
So this format is really great, but when you go to answer the questions, will it have more line space to those responses for some of them?
We can either add that or we're looking into that or allowing people to just add additional information as needed.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So moving on to the next item on our agenda, new business. I'm going to open up a public hearing to receive public comment on the use of state revenue sharing funds. So I will open that meeting up at 7 p.m. I'm going to read the rules to a public hearing, so bear with me. We need to know a declaration by members of the council of bias, conflict of interest, or ex parte communication. Do any of you have those? Starting with Councilor Sanchez.
None.
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 So we have 6 councilors who've responded. Councilor Richards had to leave to go to work, so he is no longer in this count. So next we'll have the staff report regarding the public hearing to receive public comment on the use of state revenue sharing funds.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I believe that's me. So this public hearing is for, like you mentioned, state shared revenue sharing that the city receives from the state of Oregon. This is specifically noted for revenue that is currently received in the general fund for general government use. Those revenue sharings are general revenue sharing, cigarette taxes, OLCC taxes, and marijuana taxes.
Okay, thank you for that staff report. I'm going to open this up for public comment. That means anybody that is here tonight, if you have public comment regarding this, or anybody online.
FYI, we're having technical difficulties with the online meeting, and so we now have no online participants.
Okay, thank you so much. Anybody here tonight would like to come forward to address this matter? No? I'm going to close this public meeting out at 7:02. Moving on, this is also a resolution that we will need to be voting on. So are there any questions of council regarding this resolution for state revenue sharing funds? Okay. I will entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve resolution number 9 for 2023.
Okay.
I have a motion and a second. Adam, can you take a vote, please?
Counselor Thorstad,
Yes.
Counselor Trask,
Yes.
Counselor Gorley,
Yes.
Counselor Richards, Counselor Sanchez,
Yes.
Pro Tem Mueller,
Yes.
Mayor Coleman.
Yes, we have 6 ayes and 1 absent. Moving on to the next agenda item, request for council action on resolution number 9 for 2023, a resolution certifying the city provides 4 or more services in order to receive state revenues. That's back to you, Matt.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So this is a resolution that goes along with the state shared revenue that you are complying with the state of Oregon, that you provide multiple of those services to receive state shared revenue.
Are there any questions of council? Keep in mind, this means we have to provide 4. We obviously provide more than that on that list. I will entertain a motion to approve resolution number 9 for 2023.
A second.
I have a motion and a second to approve resolution number 9 for 2023. Adam, please take a vote.
Counselor Thorstad,
Yes.
Counselor Sanchez,
Yes.
Counselor Gorley, Counselor Trask,
Yes.
Pro Tem Mueller,
Yes.
Mayor Coleman.
Yes, we have 6 ayes. no nays, and 1 absent. Moving on, we have a public hearing for resolution number 10 for 2023, adopting a budget for 2023 to 2024 and making appropriations and levying taxes. Is that on to you again, Matt?
I believe so.
I'm going to open this public hearing at 7:05, and I do need to have declarations of council regarding bias, conflict of interest, or ex parte communication. Let's start with you, Councilor Thorstad. Council Pro Tem Mahler?
Nope.
None for me. Councilor Trask?
No.
None.
Okay. Now that we have that by, the staff report is from Matt.
All right. So attached is the, this is a public hearing for the adoption of next fiscal year's budget. The budget committee unanimously approved the budget at our previous meeting. There are a couple things that we wanted to note just for the committee and the community to know is that the tax levy rate for specifically the police department levy was approved at a lower amount than what the maximum rate levy is. You may recall that I believe at least this last year, that amount was lowered to help save kind of the tax burden on the community. That again was passed at the lower rate this next year by the budget committee. So the tax levy that you would be approving tonight is at the lower rate compared to last year. And then also just a quick, sorry.
Oh, if I could just add, that all of the services that were already discussed in the budget committee, and are going to be in the budget in order to still support our additional officer, and everything for the police department are still going to be within that budget with that lower tax rate. So we're very pleased to be able to present that.
And then the only thing was to mention in your packet, I know in the past you may have previously been given the actual budget document as part of the packet for approval. I am actually finalizing the budget document with all the fund structure changes and all the other changes we've gone. So I'm going through and redoing the budget document so that it fits with all of our fund structure requirements and everything. So I do anticipate having that final budget document to Kelsey by next Monday. And so she will be able to share that out with the community as well as on the website and to you.
Thank you, Matt. Moving on to the next portion of our public hearing, public comment. Is there anybody present tonight who would like to provide comment regarding this budget? Okay, I'm going to close this public hearing at 7:07 p.m. Councilors, I'm open to a motion to approve the budget. Also, any questions or discussion from council?
I'd like to say that this was the smoothest, most professional budget process that I've ever experienced, and with that I move.
And we have a motion.
I'll second.
And a motion and a second. Any discussion or any other comments? I would also like to say that I am proud of this budget because we are offering more services, but we have been able to lower the tax burden on the public. I think that's excellent. Any other discussion or comments from councilors? Adam, please take a vote.
Counselor Trask,
Yes.
Counselor Thorstad,
Yes.
Pro Tem Mahler,
Yes.
Counselor Gorley,
Yes.
Counselor Sanchez,
Yes.
Mayor Coleman.
Yes. Means we have 6 ayes, no nays, 1 absent to approve the budget for 2023-2024. Moving on, request for council action, resolution number 11 for 2023.
Sorry.
That's right.
This resolution is for the actual adoption and certifying of the taxes. This resolution then goes to the county for official entering. I don't know what the professional word for what the county does when we send them the official resolution. But this is certifying the tax rolls.
Any questions of council? Okay. I will entertain a motion to approve resolution number 11.
So moved.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? Adam, please take a vote.
Counselor Sanchez,
Yes.
Counselor Trask,
Yes.
Counselor Gorley,
Yes.
Pro Tem Mahler,
Yes.
Counselor Thorstad,
Yes.
Mayor Coleman.
Yes, with 6 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent for the approval of resolution number 11. Moving on to the next public hearing, application for naming, oh, no, we are skipping that. Sorry, that item has been pulled from the agenda. So if that's on your agenda, it has been pulled for a later date. So moving on to ordinance bills. We have a public hearing for ordinance bill number, it says 11 for 2023. Is that a typo? Oh, it's an ordinance. Never mind, not a resolution. Thank you, Pro Tem Mueller. So I'm going to open up this public hearing for ordinance number 11 for 2023 regarding the Redwood Street vacation of right-of-way at 7:10 p.m. This is a public hearing for land use. And so I need to ask of counselors if you have any conflict of interest, ex parte information, or personal bias. Counselor Thorstad?
No.
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 No. None.
Okay, thank you for that. Now moving on to the staff report.
First, I'm going to pass out the actual ordinance. Something happened to the packet, and so now I have a hard copy for all of it. For any members of the audience who would like to see a copy, I have them here as well. Apologies for that. This is to review, this public hearing is to review the request to vacate a portion of Redwood Street. It's an unimproved dead-end portion of Redwood Street, approximately 500 feet long, located north of Highway 20 and west of 53rd Avenue. It contains no public infrastructure, no pavement, no curbing, no storm drainage, or any other component of a typical right-of-way. The properties abutting this portion of Redwood Street currently use a private access easement off of 53rd Avenue. This portion of Redwood Street would be extremely expensive to develop due to topographical constraints. There is a severe 15 to 30 foot difference in grade on the west side of 53rd Avenue that would necessitate a large amount of fill and retaining walls, making development of the street cost prohibitive. In December, we received this request from the property owners in the area. We published notice in the New Era. On January 19th of this year, the Planning Commission held a public hearing on the proposed amendment, and the Planning Commission moved to recommend approval of this vacation of Redwood Street, this portion of Redwood Street, to the City Council. It's taken this long to get to you because we had to have the proposers needed to complete a survey and have a legal description written up for the land in question, which we now have and is contained in the ordinance before you. So the question before you is whether whether to proceed with the vacation of this right of way or to deny it. All of the properties that border on this right of way have basically weighed in and given their approval. We've posted notice at the site and posted notice of this public hearing so that any in the audience or any who are interested in this issue may come forward and testify any reasons why it should or should not take place. Rights of way are not exactly city property. This is often confused. When a property is developed, often a right of way will be dedicated by the property owner so that it may have a public street servicing the property. Especially this typically happens when a property is subdivided into multiple lots so that they may each have access to a street. Therefore, when you vacate a right of way, it goes back to the property owners that gave it up in the first place. And so you divide it down the middle and each property takes half because they gave it up in the first place, they get it back. And so it's not exactly city property, but it is a city stewardship. And that is my report. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer. And then go from there.
Thank you for the staff report. The next item is testimony from those in favor or support of this application. Is there anybody present who is in favor of this application, would like to come forward? Okay, seeing none, moving on. Testimony from those in opposition to this application. Okay. Testimony from those neither in support or in opposition. Okay, I will close this public hearing at 7:15 p.m. And now the council has a request in front of them if we should move forward with vacating this right away.
Now, right?
It's been in place for some time, but yes, it is in existence, and all of the property owners in that area that are affected by this vacation all have a right to use that access easement.
Thank you.
Any other discussion from councilors or questions? Okay. I will entertain a motion for this item.
So moved.
A second.
I have a motion and a second. Adam, please take a vote.
Counselor Gorley. Counselor Sanchez.
Yes.
Counselor Thorstad.
Yes.
Counselor Trask.
Yes.
Pro Tem Mueller.
Yes.
Mayor Coleman.
Yes, 6 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent to approve ordinance number 11 for 2023. Since we just had a unanimous vote regarding that, can we call for a second reading after we read through this?
It's fine with me.
Okay, so let's read through the ordinance and then we'll call. Go ahead and do it.
Go ahead. You can skip it.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion for the second reading by title only for this evening.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second to move this on to second reading by title only to this evening. So Adam, would you please take a vote?
Counselor Sanchez. Counselor Gorley. Counselor Trask.
Yes.
Pro Tem Mueller.
Yes.
Counselor Thorstad.
Yes.
Mayor Coleman.
Yes, we have 6 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent.
I'll take care of this.
Okay.
Ordinance Bill number 11 for 2023, ordinance number blank, Sweet Home ordinance vacating the public right of way identified as the portion of Redwood Street directly west of 53rd Avenue in the city of Sweet Home, Lynn County, Oregon.
Thank you so much. We'll move this on for third reading at our next. Yeah. Do I need to take a vote for third reading to move on? No. It goes on.
Typically,
We have been doing.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll take a vote to move this to the third reading at our next meeting. Anybody would like to move?
So moved.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second. Adam, take a vote.
Counselor Gorley.
Yes.
Counselor Thorstad.
Yes.
Counselor Trask.
Yes.
Counselor Sanchez. Pro Tem Mueller.
Yes.
Mayor Coleman.
Yes, 6 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent to move this to the third reading at our next meeting. Are we having fun yet? We have 2 more of these public hearings this evening, so let's move on to the next public hearing, ordinance bill number 12 for 2023 comprehensive plan map amendment. So back to our conflict of interest, ex parte information, and personal bias. Let's start at the end of Counselor Sanchez. Do you have any? None.
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 Great. None of us have conflict of interest, ex parte information, or personal bias regarding this public hearing. So moving on to the staff report.
I want you all to remember how much fun you're having and remember that I bring you the fun stuff.
It's not said.
So, yes. Perhaps. So this application comes from the City of Sweet Home, the Sweet Home School District, and the Sweet Home Fire District, who are proposing to change the comprehensive plan map for their properties. There are 2 applications on this same matter. One is a comprehensive plan map amendment, and then the second, which we'll get to at the next public hearing, is a zone map amendment. But they're both the same. They both rely on each other and are contingent upon each other. This consists of an area about 280 acres located in Sweet Home, Oregon. The Sweet Home Comprehensive Plan map is proposed to change from the commercial central zone, the commercial highway zone, the residential low density zone, the residential medium density zone, the residential high density zone, and the mixed use employment zone to the public facility zone. The subject properties listed in the application do not have a public facility comprehensive plan designation. A comprehensive plan map amendment must be approved to complete a zone map amendment. On October 27th, 2022, the City of Sweet Home adopted the revised Sweet Home Municipal Code Title 17 that included Chapter 17.24 Public Facility Zone. The Sweet Home Planning Commission held a public hearing on May 4th, 2023 to review application CMA 23-01 and receive testimony. At that meeting, the Planning Commission approved the application and recommended that the City Council approve it. And so tonight, the City Council is holding a public hearing regarding this application and may complete the first reading of the ordinance for comprehensive plan map amendment application CMA 23-01. The reason this is necessary is none of the properties, this whole thing came about because none of the properties that the city owns are currently zoned for public facility. They all are spread among all the other zones in the city. And every time we make a change, and as well as the school district or the fire district, it is always a conditional use because of those changes and has to have a public hearing and a lot of other hurdles that we have to pass, even for something as simple as combining for instance, combining lots, doing a property line adjustment or something, which is normally a very routine thing. But because it's of the zoning, it makes it much more difficult to do. And so we are proposing that all of these properties be changed to the public facility zone, which will really facilitate the development of areas such as the quarry property, other park improvements, et cetera, for both the city as well as the school district and the fire district. The The comprehensive plan guides official policy decisions about development within the area. The plan aims to organize and coordinate complex interrelationships between people, land, resources, and facilities to meet the future needs of the citizens and to protect the livability of the community. The plan also reflects the public's goals and aspirations for Sweet Home about the best way to handle development and conservation in the city. The officially acknowledged comprehensive plan gives policy direction for land use decisions and coordinates private and public development. The Sweet Home Municipal Code provides criteria for map amendments such as this. The first of these is that the proposed amendment is consistent with the goals and policies of the comprehensive plan. Next, the proposed amendment is orderly and timely, considering the pattern of development in the area, surrounding land uses, and any changes which may have occurred in the neighboring or neighborhood or community to warrant the proposed amendment. The utilities and services can be officially provided to serve the proposed uses or other potential uses in the proposed zoning district, and the proposed amendment to the comprehensive plan map is consistent with Oregon's statewide planning goals. Staff report shows how all of these criteria are met with this application, and so we are bringing it to you and the public for public hearing and any questions seeking approval of this application.
Thank you for the staff report. Adam, just for the record, I forgot to note the time I opened this meeting, which was at 7:21. So moving on to the next part of this public hearing, testimony from those in favor or support of the application. Is there anyone present who is in favor or support and would like to come forward? Seeing none, moving on to testimony from those in opposition to the application. Anyone? Nope. So testimony from those neither in support or opposition. I will close this public hearing at 7:26 p.m. Now is the time for city council discussion or deliberation. I heard that somebody had questioned whether this was going to increase taxes. It sounds from the staff report that it might decrease the use of staff time, which would actually benefit the community. So making it easier for us to improve areas, I think, is a good thing. Any questions or comments from councilors? Okay. I will entertain a motion to either approve or not approve this ordinance.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and in a second to approve ordinance number 12 for 2023. Adam, please take a vote.
Pro Tem Mahler,
Yes.
Counselor Thorstad,
Yes.
Counselor Sanchez,
Yes.
Counselor Trask,
Yes.
Counselor Corley, Mayor Coleman.
Yes, we have 6 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent to approve ordinance bill number 12 for 2023. Please read the ordinance. Thank you. And since we had a unanimous vote on that ordinance as well, I will entertain a motion for the second reading of that ordinance tonight.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Adam, please take a vote.
Counselor Sanchez. Counselor Gorley. Counselor Trask.
Yes.
Counselor Thorstad.
Yes.
Pro Tem Mueller.
Yes.
Mayor Coleman.
Yes, 6 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent to have this ordinance read for second reading tonight by title only.
Ordinance Bill number 12 for 2023, ordinance number blank, an ordinance amending the comprehensive plan map.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion to move this for third reading at our next meeting.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Adam, please take a vote.
Counselor Thorstad.
Yes.
Pro Tem Mueller.
Yes.
Counselor Trask.
Yes.
Counselor Gorley. Counselor Sanchez. Mayor Coleman.
Yes, 6 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent to move this on to third reading at our next meeting. Moving on to the next public hearing. I'm going to open this public hearing at 7:31 p.m. I need to know from counselors if you have conflict of interest, ex parte information, or personal bias. Counselor Sanchez? No. Counselor Gorley?
No.
Counselor Trask?
No.
I don't either.
No.
Okay, moving on to staff report.
All right, this is the companion of the previous one. The city of Sweet Home School District, and Sweet Home Fire District are proposing to change the zoning map for their properties, consisting of approximately 425 acres located in Sweet Home, Oregon 97386. The reason this is a larger number of acres is because some properties already had a comprehensive plan designation of public, and this is changing the zoning of all of them now. The Sweet Home zoning map is proposed to change from the commercial central C1 zone, the commercial highway C2 zone, the recreation commercial RC zone, the residential low density R1 zone, the residential medium density R2 zone, the residential high density R3 zone, and the mixed use employment MUE zone to the public facility PF zone. On October 27th, 2022, the city of Sweet Home adopted the revised Sweet Home Municipal Code Title 17 that included Chapter 17.24 Public Facility PF Zone. The Sweet Home Planning Commission held a public hearing on May 4th, 2023 to review application ZMA 23-01 and receive testimony. At that meeting, the Planning Commission approved the application and recommended that the City Council approve it. On May 23rd, 2023, the City Council is holding a public hearing regarding the application and may complete the first reading of the ordinance for comprehensive plan or for zoning map amendment application ZMA 23-01. The Sweet Home Municipal Code provides criteria for map amendments such as this. They are: A, the proposed amendment is consistent with the goals and policies of the comprehensive plan. B, the proposed amendment is orderly and timely, considering the pattern of development in the area, surrounding land uses, and any changes which may have occurred in the neighborhood or community to warrant the proposed amendment. C, utilities and services can be efficiently provided to serve the proposed uses or other potential uses in the proposed zoning district. And D, the proposed amendment to the comprehensive plan map is consistent. The proposed amendment to the zone map is consistent with Oregon statewide planning goals. The staff report finds that all of these criteria are met and are we await any questions you may have about this application.
Thank you. Moving on to the next portion of the public hearing, testimony for those in favor or support of the application. Okay. Testimony from those in opposition to the application. Testimony from those neither in support or in opposition. Right, I will close this public hearing at 7:34 p.m. Any discussion or questions from City Council? Okay. I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Adam, please take a roll call.
Counselor Trask.
Yes.
Counselor Gorley. Counselor Thorstad.
Yes.
Pro Tem Mueller.
Yes.
Counselor Sanchez. Mayor Coleman.
Yes, 6 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent to approve ordinance bill number 13 for 2023. I'll go ahead and read it. Thank you so much. And since we had a unanimous vote on that ordinance, I will entertain a motion to read it a second time this evening by title only. I have a motion and a second. Adam, please take a vote.
Counselor Sanchez,
Yes.
Counselor Gorley,
Yes.
Counselor Thorstad,
Yes.
Counselor Trask,
Yes.
Pro Tem Muller,
Yes.
Mayor Coleman.
Yes, 6 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent to move this on to second reading by title only tonight.
Ordinance Bill number 13 for 2023, ordinance number blank, an ordinance amending the zoning map.
Thank you so much. I will entertain a motion to move this on to third reading at our next council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and 2 seconds. Adam, please take a vote.
Counselor Thorstad,
Yes.
Pro Tem Muller,
Yes.
Counselor Trask,
Yes.
Counselor Gorley,
Yes.
Counselor Sanchez, Mayor Coleman.
Yes, we have 6 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent to move this on to third reading at our next council meeting. Okay, that's the end of our public hearings, but moving on to request for council action ordinance number 15 for 2023.
Just basically, this just has two amendments in it. They're set out in your request for council action, but basically it's just the city has in its code for information who's publishing it, and we've updated that to include the city of Sweet Home since we're now self-publishing and it in the code. That's the First Amendment. The second one is just an update of words in one of our ordinances or one of our code sections, and it will match up with the new zoning laws to update it.
Thank you so much. Any questions of council? I will entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 15 for 2023. A motion and a second. Adam, please take a vote.
Counselor Sanchez,
Yes.
Counselor Thorstad,
Yes.
Counselor Gorley,
Yes.
Pro Tem Muller,
Yes.
Counselor Trask,
Yes.
Mayor Coleman.
Yes, 6 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent to approve ordinance bill number 15. Please, is there a reading of that?
I'll go ahead and read it. We don't have a copy for the computer to read. Ordinance Bill number 15 for 2023, ordinance number blank, Sweet Home Ordinance amending SHMC Section 1.01.010 pertaining to code compilers and SHMC Section 12.04.010C pertaining to development improvements. Whereas the City of Sweet Home is updating its adoption section of the SHMC to keep current with city procedures and on the compilation of the code, and is updating wording that needs to be reflected in other parts of the code to be consistent with the new zoning code. Now, therefore, the City of Sweet Home does ordain as follows. Section 1, SHMC Section 1.01.010 is amended to read as follows. There is adopted the Sweet Home Municipal Code as has been and is now and hereafter compiled, edited, and published for the City of Sweet Home by American Legal Publishing Corporation, Cincinnati, Ohio, by any subsequent publishing company hired by the City of Sweet Home for said purpose and by the City of Sweet Home. Section 2, SHMC subsection 12.04.010C is amended by removing therefrom the word non-remonstrance and replacing it with the word development before the word agreement therein. Passed by the council and approved by the mayor this blank day of blank 2023, blank mayor, attest, blank city manager, ex officio, city reporter.
Thank you so much. And since we had a unanimous vote on that ordinance as well, I will entertain a motion to have that read by second time tonight by title only.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Adam, please take a vote.
Counselor Gorley,
Yes.
Counselor Trask,
Yes.
Counselor Sanchez,
Yes.
Counselor Thorstad,
Yes.
Pro Tem Muller,
Yes.
Mayor Coleman.
Yes, 6 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent to approve or to have ordinance number 15 read for the second time this evening by title only.
Ordinance Bill number 15 for 2023, ordinance number blank, Sweet Home Ordinance amending SHMC Section 1.01.010 pertaining to code compilers and SHMC Section 12.04.010C pertaining to development improvements.
Thank you so much. I will entertain a motion to move this to the third reading at our next meeting.
So second.
A motion and a second. Adam?
Pro Tem Muller,
Yes.
Counselor Thorstad,
Yes.
Counselor Trask,
Yes.
Counselor Sanchez.
Yep.
Counselor Gorley,
Yes.
Mayor Coleman.
Yes, 6 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent. To move that on to the third reading. Okay, we have no second reading of ordinance bills, but we do have third reading of ordinance bills. Ordinance bill number 9 for 2023, read by title only.
Ordinance Bill number 9 for 2023, ordinance number 1315, Sweet Home Ordinance amending Chapter 4 of the City of Sweet Home Comprehensive Plan and adopting a housing needs analysis.
Thank you. I will entertain a
Is it just a misprint? In mine is 1316. Is that, which is correct?
Number 9 should be 1315.
Okay.
The other one is 1316.
Okay.
So now that we have that corrected, I will entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Adam?
Counselor Thorstad,
Yes.
Pro Tem Muller,
Yes.
Counselor Trask,
Yes.
Counselor Gorley,
Yes.
Counselor Sanchez,
Yes.
Mayor Coleman.
Yes, 6 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent to adopt ordinance bill number 9 for 2023. Okay, ordinance bill number 10 for 2023, third reading by title only.
Ordinance Bill number 10 for 2023, ordinance number 1316, an ordinance amending the official zoning map.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance.
So moved.
A motion and a second. Adam?
Counselor Trask,
Sure.
Counselor Thorstad,
Yes.
Pro Tem Muller,
Yes.
Counselor Gorley, Counselor Sanchez, Mayor Coleman.
Yes, 6 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent to adopt ordinance bill number 10 for 2023. Thank you all. Now, moving on to reports for committees. I will start with this as Counselor Thorstad has requested to be added to the Traffic Safety Committee. So I am having him also on that Traffic Safety Committee. It will be chaired by Counselor Richards, but he will, Counselor Thorstad will also be on that. Also, Youth Advisory Council had a meeting this last week, and our next meeting will be June 27th, is a Tuesday at 4 p.m. And Solid Waste Advisory Council, I get to attend one of those next week. I'll have a report at our next meeting. Any other reports from counselors?
Oh, yeah. So the medical students from Western University came and did a lovely report. Actually, it was very well received on the survey that they had done. And this is the second time they've gone through this process. It met all their goals with the first one. And so that information, if you would like to view it, the meeting was recorded, and their little PowerPoint piece that they presented is available as well. And so it's very exciting. It's a great team, and I'm really proud of the work that they've been doing. The ad hoc committee on arts and culture have been meeting since February. And it is amazing to me how much that has been accomplished by these community members. They are an incredible dynamic team. And we had originally started talking about the culture that we have inherited over time with Main Street and how it affects our community. And the conversation was about volunteers painting the facades and the city power washing as they do the streets and power washing the sidewalks and being able to clean things up a bit. And as we've moved down that path, it has been really incredible what is about to happen to us. And so I believe that the best person to explain to you what is going to happen to our community is our city manager. Once in a lifetime opportunity here.
Thank you. And I want to thank the Ad hoc Arts Committee, Arts and Culture Committee too, for all of their hard work and so forth. So right now we are in conversations with potential donor to provide paint for our entire downtown district. This will be voluntary for the property owners. But if they want to participate in this, the idea is that it would be free paint all the way along the downtown. The current sponsor that we're talking and discussing this with is also offering to provide color consulting as well as national press on this particular project. So we're going to be reaching out to the various property owners and getting a list of those who want to participate. So far, it looks like we're going to have a fair amount of property owners who want to participate. And we are going to be then developing the color palette. We've been talking through this with both the sponsor and the art and culture committee on having a very dynamic color palette for downtown, something that really is vibrant and beautiful, and but also represents sort of the Northwest Oregon color scheme. So once that is finalized, we will be very happy to bring that back and talk about exactly what is going to happen. We also are looking for volunteers, and we're seeing quite a few volunteers stepping up and wanting to be included. We also heard from some other community members who would like to paint some of the houses along those corridors as well. So we're looking if we can bring them in and collaborate on all of that. So stay tuned. It's extremely exciting. This is something that could really transform the way that our downtown sweet home presents itself and looks, and we're hoping to have some additional partnerships with the property owners there on other ways that we can also engage the public. So there have been quite a few ideas out there. I also want to give a shout out to our library director who's looking at doing potential story walks, and our public works team, of course, who is doing incredible work down there already, as well as our beautification committee, who already has the flowers out in the medians and the flower baskets, and they're looking beautiful. And our police department, who has been doing additional patrols and security all down in our downtown area. So we're really, really poised, I think, to have a real transformation. And so I just want to thank everyone involved, because we are so close to really being able to look at this sometime next year and just look back at this summer on exactly how much we were able to achieve. So thank you. And thank you for letting me talk about this too. It's
Oh,
very exciting.
It is an incredible opportunity for our businesses, and tentatively, they're talking from 9th Street to 18th, both sides of the highway, Long Street, and everything in between. And Sweet Home has a long history of volunteerism. This is going to be an all hands on deck experience. We're going to need painting and pressure washing, and the mayor has asked for the alleyway to be done in murals. We've done 2 walkthroughs already, and I believe that there's an incredible opportunity to change the history and the culture of our community with a really good coat of paint, and that this doesn't come around. It just doesn't happen for us. It doesn't happen for communities like us where somebody is willing to invest in us like that. And so please, if you know anybody, we're going to be developing teams and strategically breaking this out to where it is manageable. And I'm just really excited to be right here at this time in history for our community.
Thank you so much, Councilor Gorley. Any other reports from committees? Okay, moving on, reports of city officials, city managers report.
Yes, thank you. So first off, I just want to say thank you for getting through this council meeting. This was a lot, and you all were troopers, so well done. And then also very excited to have the budget approved. I want to thank the budget committee and of course our contracted finance director, Matt Brown. Please give Matt lots of thank yous and try to convince him to stay with us for a very long time and eventually be permanent. I'm teasing, but not really. So just want to thank everybody on that. We're really excited to be able to move forward with this budget. So we also had, and also all of staff that was involved. This was a lot of work and everybody stepped up and it was really great to see. We also had a successful rabbit run. So want to thank Councilor Sanchez and Councilor Richards, who's not here, but for attending that rabbit run and for supporting that. We are quite excited because we are going to be able to move forward with our community garden. And please stay tuned for that. We are creating the process for signing up for our community garden right now. And Public Works has been doing an amazing job on getting all of that ready. So we actually are going to be ready to go in the next couple weeks. So please stay tuned. We'll be posting some items on Facebook as well as probably some sort of sign up process that we're hoping might be through our website, but we're still working all of that through. We also had a very successful community market. So I want to thank everybody who attended, Councilor Gorley and Mayor Coleman. I saw both of you there. And this will be going on every Saturday. So please continue to attend. It's exciting to see this here in our community. And it's really fun to see sort of the community participation as well as, you know, the various vendors. And I love to shop, so it's wonderful to be able to go. So yes, and I want to just thank everybody who attended. We are also working on developing camping at Quarry Park. This is a pilot process for us and a pilot program. And I use the term Quarry Park loosely. Technically, this hasn't been dedicated as a park. We're still working through all of this. And we're also probably going to be coming forward with a naming process in the very near future, as well as trying to bring in some additional community involvement. This particular property has to go through a wetlands delineation as well. So we are in the process of setting that up, and they should be doing that soon. And then we have to get approval from DEQ on any additional construction and so forth. So we're doing everything that we can to make this park still usable this summer. But again, this is more of a pilot program in that we're sort of testing things out, seeing what's available, seeing what the wetland delineation is going to look like. And then we'll kind of bring in the Park and Tree Committee, the community, and discuss it further. So we're very excited about this, though. We already have people calling us wanting to potentially reserve camping sites, which we're not ready to do just yet, but it's good to see. So it does look like some of our asks for funding may move forward. So that's very exciting. We do not have absolute confirmation yet, but it does look like some of them are going to move forward. So I just want to thank Representative Jamie Kate and the Senators, Cedric Hayden and Senator Jeff Merkley and all of their staff for their ongoing support. And we have our fingers crossed that these asks are going to move forward. If they do move forward, it's going to be extremely instrumental in us moving the wastewater treatment plant forward quickly, as well as some of our other projects. If they do not move forward, we still have backup plans. We have the USDA loan program, and I also want to thank staff for applying for the WIFIA program. So, and we're looking at potential rate studies and exactly what would need to happen in order to move this forward if some of these asks do not happen. However, right now it looks very positive that we are going to get some funding. So we're excited about that. We just don't know how much. So I also just want to take a moment and thank staff. I'm not sure it's always apparent exactly how hard city staff works. Some of you who are involved, you know, as counselors and with committees, I think get an idea, but it is one of those jobs that it doesn't really stop. And there's a lot of extra hours and a lot of extra work. And it's also not an easy job. So I just want to remind the community to continue to be kind. You'd be surprised at how often staff has to deal with name calling and being yelled at and things like that. So both in person, over the phone, on social media, all of the above. So I just would like to remind everybody that we are trying to elevate the reputation of Sweet Home and to ask that the community be kind. If you see somebody who's working, one of our police officers, public works officers, somebody at a front counter, just be aware there's a lot that goes behind the scenes and just try to be kind. And I just want to send a request to everyone to please be kind to each other. We are trying to elevate the reputation of Sweet Home. We are trying to show exactly how wonderful this community really is. We are having a lot of partnerships with other agencies and the rest of the community. So we just want to continue to try to be kind and respectful. It's positive for us to have disagreements and to come up with additional ideas and diversity. However, it should always be professional and respectful. And I honestly believe that everybody wants the best for Sweet Home. And in order to achieve that, we need to come together as a community and continue to show everyone that Sweet Home is a beautiful place with really wonderful people. And it truly, truly is. And it's an honor to get to be a part of it. So I just want to say thank you. And that's it for me.
Thank you so much, City Manager Young. I appreciate all of the words that you've just shared. And I too wanted to thank you for the work you did on the Rabbit Run and the community market, setting that up. We appreciate that. It was a fun event and glad that counselors could attend those things. I also want to give a shout out to Will Garrett at Radiator Supply House and Best Damn Barbecue Sauce team. I saw that they won a World Championship Award, which I think is amazing since they're going to be hosting the event here in Sweet Home soon. So shout out to them for winning that award. World Championship is a big deal. I want to thank the counselors for the work that they do with each other, and just want to reiterate what City Manager Young said. Disagreement is good. Doing it in a healthy, respectful way is a way to elevate our community and continue to give our community a great reputation in surrounding areas. So thank you so much for that. Moving on to directors' reports. Are there any questions from the directors, or would the directors like to share their reports? Any councilors have questions for directors?
Madam Mayor, I do have a question for Greg. Is ODOT done down in all those, their work?
You take that one? I think they're still cleaning up some things. We haven't got an official release, as I understand it, so we're still working on that. We have a meeting set up, Blair, myself, Kelsey, tomorrow morning with ODOT and some of their management as well.
I was kind of curious because there were some crosswalk areas where they've not identified as a crosswalk. I mean, is that intentional or?
We have a lot of concerns that we're going to be discussing them. Some of the barriers that they have since they haven't been turned over, and the amount of cars that have been passing over those, and we have concerns with those being turned over to us for maintaining without proper delineation or visible barriers for people. And so that's what we're going to start our conversation with them. It has not been turned over, but we have multiple concerns, not just of things like that, but before it gets turned over to us, we're going to have to take responsibility for these things.
Yeah,
So
there's also
details that need to be kind of worked out.
Like the safety lights at the crosswalks. I haven't seen those operational yet. Is
They're
that
not?
they're not?
Do you want to talk about I think there's power at 22nd that's still being kind of on packed powers.
Yeah, all of the ones that are connected to Pacific Power, I believe some are solar powered, but most are connected to power, and none of those are operational yet because of essentially delays with Pacific Power getting them hooked up and metered properly. So we're still waiting on that.
And just out of curiosity, are they going to replace the one out there by Midway that was taken out by a car?
There's actually two. There's still the one at 22nd, and now there's the one right in front of the market right next door. Yeah.
Okay.
There's two of them that have not been replaced yet. And the one at 22nd was hit twice or three times.
Not only identifying, barriers and protection for out there, are they going to, I'd be curious, are they going to come back and paint a lot of the areas that they've taken away with the yellow?
So that's part of that. I noticed something happened late last Thursday, Friday, because I was off Thursday afternoon and not here Friday. And when I came in this Monday morning, I did see the 22nd ramp that was fully painted with electric or kind of reflective paint around it. I think we'd like to have a little bit more than, some of the fiberglass barriers that you see, that if somebody's going to hit those first before they even get to those. I think some additional signage may be needed as well. And I'm not sure it's ODOT's right away. It's their street. We have agreements that they build it and then we get to maintain it to some degree. But we have to work with them. And so we'll start with that discussion with them tomorrow.
I'm just bringing these up as possible discussions because I'm curious,
We have the same, we have, every time there's a car in there, we're having the same discussion. So that concern that you're sharing with us is already cultivating inside.
Including
So,
additional signage out there by those crosswalks for our people taking right or left-hand turns, to prevent them from happening.
in this case, like the market next door, you got people coming out of a drive-through, they're looking right and making an immediate turn left.
Mhm.
And there's just people that have done this year after year after year. That's what we're finding, that, they've gone into that turn lane many, many years. All of a sudden now there's something there. And they're looking right, and I can see that happen. So I don't know what we do yet, but it starts with a conversation with our state
I would think in
representative.
some areas we put signage up saying no right turn or no left turn.
And
Just
if-
new signage.
If I can add, that's exactly one of the things that we want to discuss tomorrow is signage, paints, crosswalks, and then what is getting finished before it's handed over to us.
And last but least, these speed signs in towns, a lot of them are not working. Is those going to be fixed or?
They are. I just had a conversation with Sean Morgan today, who's usually mines the data off of those. So he's in conversation with Public Works currently, and they are getting fixed and or batteries replaced and or if we need to order new ones.
Okay. Thank you kindly.
Yeah.
Oh, I know you guys get calls, we get calls too, when ODOT's having problems and causing traffic congestion, when they're putting those crosswalks right in front of the business instead of slightly down and preventing people from being able to turn in and out. They've done that at Midway and they've done it at Glenn's. And so it's sad that we do surveys and we try to figure out the best practice, and yet they come in and do that and harm our businesses. And so, but I also agree with the signage about not turning. That's not going to be well received in a couple of those locations because it does hurt businesses. But at the same time, I've seen people try to go around the barrier and pull into, headed east into the Bi-Mart. And it's like, it's not good. It's just not good. And so anything we can do to help our community do better. But the traffic the congestion that we had last week and without the signage that was appropriate to help prevent that, they need to bring their A game when they come to our town, and they failed. So I don't mind handicap ramps. I don't mind the crosswalks looking better and everything and being safer. I just think that they can do better themselves.
Any other questions from counselors of the directors or regarding the reports? Okay, moving on. City Attorney, do you have a report? Council, business for the good of the order. Anybody have anything they'd like to share? Yes, yes, you may.
So I just want to say thank you to Kelsey for the 2 events that she did, especially the Rabbit Run, supporting the community garden. I went up to Strawberry Park and I saw the 8 little, I don't know what you call them, mini gardens for plots for people. And there's a lot of people interested in it. I just want to bring this to your attention. If you didn't already know, some of the residents of that neighborhood are saying there's stray cats and whatnot that frequent their gardens. And so if people are going to be paying for a plot and then there's cats digging in their gardens, I think it's something that we should probably try to think about. That's all. Thank you.
Anything else? No? Okay, I will close this meeting at 8:05 p.m.
Some of that bird netting arch over it.